Salutations, and welcome to another episode of Custom Edition Map Showcase, where I show off a single level or a group of levels that are significant to Halo Custom Edition. If you have any suggestions on what CE maps you'd like me to cover in this series, leave your ideas down in the comment section below or in the Map Showcase channel on my Discord server. Since it's Haloween, I think it's time for another Flood themed episode. This installment's going to be a bit nostalgic because I'm going to talk about a sequel to Firefight Descent, a map that I covered in the very first episode of Custom Edition Map Showcase over 3 years ago. Welcome to Firefight Descent Quarantine, a new take on this level that has the player take on wave after wave of the ancient parasitic force. Quarantine takes place directly after the events of the original map, with a Covenant cruiser having not been overtaken by the Flood. I personally appreciate that the beginning camera angle was positioned this way to demonstrate the story progression between the two versions of Descent. You also play as the same character from the previous rendition of Descent, who drops into the map and immediately heads into the Forerunner interiors for cover. Once the cutscene is over and you gain control of your character, you're free to explore the room before initiating the onslaught. There's plenty of weapons and ammo scattered around the interiors to take advantage of before starting the firefight. And just like in the first Firefight Descent, there's a tutorial panel you can activate that gives a brief rundown of what this level has to offer, and I'll go over each of these features as the video progresses. The first couple of waves start off at a modest difficulty, which will increase in toughness as the session continues. After the 10th of each wave, a challenge wave will start. It's just like the bonus rounds in traditional firefight modes where you aren't penalized with lost lives if you die. And during these challenge waves, unique enemies will appear, from Invisible Flood, to the Sentinel Crawlers from the Forgotten Exile, and even elites and top hats holding rocket launchers, because why not? After the first 10 waves and the first challenge wave are completed, the map opens up to the outdoor area where the Covenant landing pad is located, which now lies dormant without a ship to transport troops to. Your spawn point will also change to be positioned outside as well. After the 20th wave, reinforcements are unlocked, and an allied trooper will follow and fight alongside you. Once you finally die and succumb to the Flood, just like in the original map, the game will give you a rank based on how long you survived. The weapon sandbox is very similar to what was offered in the original version of the map, and it's received improvements. For instance, the ODST pistol is extremely better in Quarantine, acting similarly to its actual Halo 3 ODST counterpart, with a higher rate of fire and reload speed. Other Firefight Descent mainstays make a return as well, including the ODST suppressed SMG, the Tactical Assault Rifle, the Tactical Battle Rifle, and the infamous Gauss Sniper Rifle, just to name a few of some of the better weapons in the game. I personally found that the Plasma Rifles are also really good options to use on this map for their excellent matchups against shielded combat forms, while also doing decent damage to just about everything else. And of course, what is a proper Flood map without a flamethrower? It's actually pretty good, which is rare for a custom edition flamethrower variant. However, I still personally prefer ranged weapons like the Plasma Rifle and Tactical Battle Rifle, especially due to the fact that the flamethrower can detonate grenades on the floor and they will kill you very easily. Much like in the original Firefight Descent, there's a random weapon drop that takes place every other round, with a power weapon drop that comes in after every challenge wave. Also like in the original, the player has access to one piece of equipment per life. While it was a bubble shield in the first version of this map, in Quarantine, it's a local detonation device that protects your character with an explosive shockwave which can be used as a get-off-me tool against Flood forms that get too close. While I enjoyed my time with Firefight Descent Quarantine, I do have a number of issues with it that I'd like to see addressed in future versions if such a thing is planned. For starters, I'm not a huge fan of not being able to choose where to spawn once the outdoor area is unlocked. Once we reach that part of the map, we're stuck spawning in this spot for the rest of the session, and there have been plenty of times where I prefer to spawn indoors, but can't due to this restriction. Speaking of moving to the outdoor section, I'm also bummed that we aren't able to continue on to the top part of the map where the original starting location was in the previous version. It would have made for a neat last stand area, almost like this map is finally coming full circle after the events of the first map. Another problem I had was how some of the human weapons handled partial reloads. For example, both the suppressed SMG and the Tactical Battle Rifle have a 1-second delay after a partial reload, and the weapons have the same amount of time to complete the animation as an empty reload animation. Due to this, I highly recommend utilizing the backpack reload glitch as often as possible to compensate for the reload delays. Furthermore, there are some noticeable fandom BSPs near the top parts of the ramp in the outdoor portion, and they've gotten in my firing line quite a few times during my sessions. Lastly, this map isn't as feature rich as the original Descent, which had the Sentinel reinforcements as well as the Quarantine airstrike, which is ironic given the name. Both of these tools would have been perfect returning features in this map. Sentinels just make perfect adversaries for the Flood, and I'm disappointed that we can't see this matchup take place. Either way, Firefight Descent Quarantine is a highly fun experience that I recommend giving a shot. Firefight maps have, for the most part, been solid additions to Custom Edition, and this map is no exception. A few months ago, I covered a Flood campaign mod titled The Flood Virulence, and since then, it received a major update that I felt warranted a revisit. This update actually addresses quite a few of the concerns that I had when I made the first video. The plasma rifle received a proper first-person model, the Flood can take over elites and marines to bolster your forces, and it even includes brand new missions, where new enemy types are introduced, and a proper vehicle segment is included this time. These new missions take place on the island that houses the Silent Cartographer, and the Flood are after the island's secrets, as well as the Covenant troops that guard them. Once the Flood overwhelms this area, they begin work on a new proto-gravemind, with this one taking biomass from elite counselors. To be honest, that sounds like a horrifying rendition of the gravemind for the Covenant to go up against, a being that knows them like the back of their tentacled arms. It's after this point where we go up against some of the newer enemies of the mod, which includes the Sentinel Enforcer and the Plasma Flamethrower elite from Forgotten Exile. The subsequent outdoor section is where the mission opens up considerably, with large-scale battles taking place right before you. Since the mod started to use Forgotten Exile assets, I do kinda wish that the Floodified Ghost and Banshee made an appearance here as well, but I'm alright with what's offered here. I'd like to briefly bring up the new Flood Infection mechanic. In the previous video, I expressed concerns about the recuperation missions that took place on the library. In the older version, we never got to see your Flood forces, well, recuperate outside of them spawning somewhere off screen. However, with this new Flood mechanic, we can finally see this happen in real time, and the recuperation missions just became that much better for it. And that's going to be the end of this video. If, and only if, you enjoyed this video, hit the like button as it helps my channel greatly, and subscribe for more Halo content on this channel. Make sure to hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video onto the channel. I also have a Patreon account where you can voluntarily donate however much money you like to further support the channel, and now I'd like to thank the following Sangheili Zealots for supporting me on Patreon. Storm from Storm and Blackbird, Scully Smith, Tanner Koken, Tanner Hoke, Noel with the Scarf, Kate Proust, Sunny Boy, It's Me Fizzy, Thrin Mon, and Coolin Castleman. This is the Vengeful Vadam, and I'll see you on the great journey.